Welcome to Anafram Market Perspectives.
Friday market recap, tariff shifts, Nvidia pressure, and a risk-off close. Welcome back. In a few minutes, I will walk you through the week using the S&P heat map, the latest updates on Trump tariffs, the key economic data, a quick futures and commodity sweep, and a check on our watch list of SPY, Nvidia, and Palo Alto networks. Let's begin. S&P 500 weekly recap. This was a clear risk-off week. The heat map shows broad red across technology, consumer names, and industrials. Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and most software stocks pulled back after recent strength. Amazon and Tesla extended declines, while Google showed slightly better resilience, but still finished softer. Financials also traded lower, and industrials, travel, and materials followed the same pattern. Only a few defensive names such as Walmart and Eli Lilly managed to hold up. Breadth remained narrow and the VYX pushed above 20, reflecting cautious positioning rather than broad buying. Trump tariffs and policy shifts. Tariff developments drove much of the week's narrative. The president signed an order lowering duties on beef, tomatoes, coffee, and bananas to ease consumer pressure on food prices. At the same time, he floated the idea of $2,000 tariff dividend checks next year, although the proposal would require congressional approval and comes with significant fiscal costs. Internationally, the United States and Switzerland are moving toward implementing a reduction of their tariff rate to 15% alongside Swiss investment commitments. Brazil aims to secure its own preliminary deal soon. Canada remains doubtful that broad tariff relief is near, according to recent polling. The United States and China extended their trade truce for another year, with China suspending additional rare earth controls, while the United States pauses some reciprocal tariffs. Still, Nvidia's weak China revenues highlighted ongoing export restrictions and the limits of the truce. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court continued reviewing the legality of broad presidential tariff authority. Questions from conservative and liberal justices signaled uncertainty over the long-term structure of tariff powers. Markets treated this as a key unresolved risk heading into year-end. Economic data, what actually printed Japan's third quarter gross domestic product contracted, although industrial production recovered. In Canada, core inflation came in hotter than expected, keeping pressure on policymakers. In the United States, the New York Empire Index returned to positive territory and factory orders improved, while jobless claims remained stable. The delayed trade report showed a narrower deficit as imports weakened. The Atlanta Fed GDP now estimate held near 4.2%, pointing to continued momentum. In Europe, inflation moved in line with expectations, with core near 2.4%. United Kingdom consumer prices eased slightly but remain above target. Energy data showed a crude draw that briefly supported oil midweek. The overall macro picture suggested steady yet moderate growth, persistent disinflation, and no immediate pivot from major central banks. Futures and commodities. Index futures in the United States, Europe, and Japan traded lower into the close. Crude oil eased near the high 50s for WTI and low 60s for Brent. Natural gas softened and gold hovered above $4,000 per ounce. Soft commodities showed mixed performance, with cocoa and lumber stronger while grains slipped. Bitcoin traded around the upper 80,000 range after a volatile stretch. SPY, Nvidia, and Palo Alto Networks SPY trended lower throughout the week, repeatedly failing to reclaim the middle Bollinger Band on the short-term chart. Nvidia's earnings beat could not offset concerns around limited China sales, leading to a steady fade after the initial jump. Palo Alto Networks saw the sharpest move, gapping down and stabilizing but remaining below key levels despite improving MACD momentum. Game plan. With volatility elevated and tariff developments active, this remains a market where patience matters. Keep risk controlled and wait for confirming closes on SPY before increasing exposure. For individual names, focus on quality companies with clear technical support rather than chasing early rebounds.
Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, hit subscribe and share this with others. See you next time on Anafram Market Perspectives.